Hi guys, it's Michelle, Deception Bytes, and today is Saturday, October 6th, and it's 7:38 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I'm trying to get a little bit of an earlier start tonight because we do have a lot to cover. I'm behind, so I need to catch up on the 5th in this video, and my next video, we are going to be looking at the post from today, which today has been a very, very, very fruitful day in terms of politics anyway, because we've, of course, got the confirmation of Justice Kavanaugh, which is wonderful, but it's odd. I was watching it on the computer live, and I'm just not a TV person, so I really don't even have my cable hooked up because I just don't watch it enough to make it worth the money. But I was watching it online, and somebody called me, a friend from Georgia, and said, "Are you watching?" And I said, "Oh, I'm watching, yeah." And so I had stepped away from my computer to take the call, and that is when the protesting started. And it was so strange because I was listening to his TV through my phone, and I could hear this, and I said, "My gosh, it sounds like demons." And he started to laugh, and I said, "It does." And he says, "I know, I was just thinking the same thing before you said that." Well, I came back with my phone in my hand to my computer to see what people were commenting. That's what everybody was commenting. They said, "My God, it sounds like demons are screaming." It did. I mean, I know that's a little out there, but it really did to me, and maybe it was. Maybe the demons in hell are angry. Who knows? But it was just odd. But I was delighted. I mean, I knew that he would be confirmed because Q had already told us that. But of course, until you actually see it manifest before your eyes, sometimes you have little faith. And I guess I was just hoping that nothing happened at the last minute to put it off further or to disrupt it. So anyway, let's get started. I'm going to dig into October 5th. I appreciate you all listening, and let's get at it. Now, the first, of course, is this picture of Dianne Feinstein cornering Lisa Murkowski. And it's interesting. Their body language is very interesting because Dianne Feinstein, that is a very aggressive stance with one arm there. If that was a male and a female, who weren't married or whatever, somebody would think that there was something aggressive that they needed to step into. Seriously, because that is a very aggressive stance. She's blocking her way of getting out. The only thing more aggressive would be if she had this arm, on the other side of the door. But it's interesting. Q says, "A picture is worth 1,000 words," and really, it is. See evil in the face of Feinstein. Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say I see evil in the face of Feinstein. I see evil in the way her stance, because it's obvious to me that she is trying to exert influence over Murkowski, and which was exactly what she was trying to do. But and it says, "See fear and emotion in the face of Murkowski." Well, again, I don't see fear and emotion in the face of Murkowski, but I do see it mirrored in her body language. It's hard to tell, but she's got because all women carry books against their chest. That's just the way women carry books. And, but you can see her leaning forward to her, but she looks very timid to me. The way her stance looks very timid, as if she is recognizing through her body that I am not, this is the superior female. This is the alpha female. I guess. I don't know how to say that, but anyway, we'll go on from there. I think we can read into this what we want, but I think that we would all agree that it's aggressive. I would take this as an aggressive stance without even knowing what was said. I would think that it was aggressive, and that this person is trying to speak for themselves in the face of aggression. That's what it looks like to me. A picture's worth 1,000 words. See evil in the face of Feinstein. See fear and emotion in the face of Murkowski. A phone was present. Q. Now, maybe that's why he's explaining a phone was present. That's how we got this picture, because someone that's on our side happened to have their cell phone and snapped a picture, because that's what it looks like. It looks like a cell phone picture to me. And anyway, we can move on from there because we already know that that's what happened. That Feinstein tried to exert pressure, did exert pressure, because Murkowski ended up voting no for Kavanaugh. So we know that pressure was exerted. All right, let's move on. Now, this one is a post by Q where he is highlighting an earlier post. Now, I'm going to go somewhere where we can look at it a little bit bigger so that we can see what this is being said here, because it's very blurry. And underneath it, Q says, important to remember, Q. So let's go take a look at that. All right, now this is Q's post from August 31st, and it says, special approval, P7291730093991_Z, and then underneath that in kill brackets, we have setup 1, and we have a link to the Hill article where Homeland Security confirms special entry permit was given to the Russian lawyer. And then it says LL, which is Loretta Lynch, obviously. And then it has to paper trail special entry. So we know that Loretta Lynch was responsible for getting Natalia into the country. I was going to say legally, but really, I guess it was just the paperwork. There was no legality about it because the whole deal was illegal. But anyway, she got her special entry into the country, and this was Natalia Veselnitskaya. I cannot say her name properly because I'm sure you realize that Russian names are very hard to pronounce. And then Manafort. So Natalia was responsible for Manafort. And what happened there, I would assume that he is saying a FISA warrant was issued and approved for Manafort. So Loretta Lynch got Natalia into the country, and it was Natalia who actually targeted Manafort, or was the reason for Manafort being surveilled. All right, so then a FISA warrant was issued and approved for Manafort, and because of her, Natalia. And then Mueller went after and investigated Manafort. We know that. FISA warrant issued, approved for Papadopoulos, and then Mueller started investigating Papadopoulos, of course, through wiretapping and all that stuff, and various means. FISA warrant issued, approved for Page, and this, of course, is the FISA warrant that we are all wanting to see, because it contains 20 pages that are redacted, and some of those redacted items contain the smoking gun. And I think there's more than one smoking gun. I think there's a whole smoking arsenal. But anyway, that is what we're all waiting for. And so FISA warrant was issued and approved for Page, Carter Page, and Mueller then started investigating Page and putting him under surveillance, which of course we know was just an excuse because the real target was Donald Trump, and we know that now. So when they were investigating Papadopoulos, Page, and Manafort, well, because of their interaction with Trump, it gave them approval to start wiretapping Trump. But yeah, really, really convoluted stuff here, and pretty wild. Anyway, this is all stuff we know already. FISA warrant issued, approved for Flynn, and then Mueller started investigating Flynn, as we know. You must target, remove, and silence all those illegally targeted for FISA surveillance, plus the UK assisted. The UK assisted plus FISA surveillance included all upstream collection and tangent contracts, and that is umbrella surveillance. And we've gone over that before, because let's say they target me and they say, okay, well, we've seen her and we think that she's a spy or whatever. We've seen her doing this. We've seen her with these people, and we think that she's spying. So they take out a file, which I think I would have to be in the U.S. for them to do that, I believe. But anyway, they would take out a FISA warrant, and they'd say, well, this person, she's a danger to the U.S. and we need to, have her under surveillance. Well, it wouldn't just be me. It would be the people that I call a lot, the people that I contact via email. It would be my close friends, any friends that I have over to my home. They would look at them. So it would extend to others. It would be an umbrella because anyone in my sphere of influence would be investigated. And that's exactly what happened with Trump. But the difference with Trump is that he was the real target all along. It was never all these other people. They don't care about these other people. It was always Trump. All right. Foreign target designators create leapfrog hops to isolated real targets. Now, foreign communications, and then Section 702, and that is the rooms that they have for the, it has the classified information are kept in these compact, compartmentalized facilities that are specialized and they're under a lot of surveillance, and you can't go in there with a cell phone. There's always somebody in there with you. Now, certain people who do have the right classification can read the documents that are kept in these facilities, but they have to, they're watched the entire time. They can't take a cell phone in, they can't take whatever into these facilities. And down here, Q is talking about that, and he's saying a P talks to X, X talks to Y, Y talks to Z, P, X, Y, Z equals bulk data collection. That's the umbrella, because whoever you talk to, they're going to look at them too. And then the UK assisted because they allowed for normal FISA law deconstruction, included D2 spy insert. Deconstruct includes non-FISA warrant, special ops classified public Q. So, he's giving us a lot of information here, but it's a concentrated form of information that we've already had. And of course, this is a drop from August 31st. He's only reminding us. And I'm only going over this because he's wanting us to be reminded. So that's the only reason I'm going over it, because it's all stuff that we know, but it's in a concentrated form. It's in one drop. So let's go back. And Q is telling us it's important to remember all this. And there's so many details that I think that Q does this. It's for our own good, really, because, any good teacher will do the same thing. And having been in school for so long, I'm really addicted to learning. And I just keep picking up either, 4-year degrees or little two-year degrees, associate degrees, because I always have to be learning something. That's just my makeup. But a good teacher will do that, because you go through the term and you learn things at the beginning of the term. Well, by the time you're at the midterm and you're going to be tested on this, the stuff that you took a couple months ago is starting to get a little fuzzy. So a good teacher will say, now remember, this is connected to this that we learned back 2 years ago, or two months ago, and that's what a good teacher does. And that is exactly what Q does. So Q knows, there's some sort of pedagogical background there, because he does know how to properly teach people. And that's just a quick note on my behalf, and it's neither here nor there, but something that I thought I would note. All right, now let's go on to this, because this is extremely interesting. All right, now this connects to a post that we had yesterday, which was actually the day before because I'm a day behind, but it is from October 4th, the original post, and that was, this person was at a rally, and now I can't remember where the rally was. It might have been Virginia. I've forgotten for some reason. Anyway, we're going to take a look at this, and it says Q is telling us important moment in time. The picture will be the signifier. The signifier will force the Q. Now, when he's saying Q, he's talking about question. The signifier will force the question. What question is that? Well, it's the question about Q. Who is Q? And is Q connected to you, meaning Donald Trump? That's the question. That's the question that, he wants asked. Otherwise, they would not have allowed people into that particular rally with their Q shirts on, because other rallies, they have said, no. The Secret Service has stepped in and said, no, you can't go in there with that T-shirt on. So I think they allowed them to have the hats, if I'm not mistaken, but any Q T-shirts specifically were forbidden, or Q signs. Now, ever since Florida rally, where it first came out, that has been forbidden. The Secret Service would not allow that, and people on the opposite side were calling in false threats about Q and saying, this group is going to do violence and whatever, so you better not let them in, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, it's odd that at this particular one, the Secret Service was allowing people in a T-shirt. And there was this one young man who took his elderly mother, I believe it was his mother, and his Anon baby, that's Q Anon baby. And we're going to go out and see this in a second. But Q is telling us that this is important because the picture is a signifier. It's a signifier that's going to force the Q, force the question. Now, let's go take a look at it. And I'm dwelling on this because it's important. I think it's really important, and I think a lot of people have missed the importance of it. Now, here's this guy, and I guess his name is VIP Anon at QAnon, baby. Now, it says, okay, Q family, I met the real Donald Trump, or Donald Trump, the president, asked him the question. Asked him the question. See attached pic from 8chan. Okay, now let's make this a little bit bigger. Now here is the man. He's got a Q t-shirt on, and it says best president ever. And it says VIP on here. I hate that name, by the way. I am not a VIP, and not really anonymous anymore, LOL. But I want to thank all the bakers and anons here that contribute so much to the Q movement. So I went to the rally tonight and had the privilege to meet President Trump. What a great guy. Very personable and very nice in person. I had the opportunity to take a picture with him that they will mail at a later date. So after the photo was taken, I asked him the question. Me, I have a question. Trump, okay. Me, is Q real? Trump, he looked at me right in the eye, paused for an uncomfortable second, then threw out his hands to the side and said, I don't know, maybe. Another pause, then said, I do know they are great people. Me, yes, they are. Not interesting. But there's more. There was another guy. Let me see. That's a picture that he obviously took when he was there. Let me go back here because I have something else that I found during my Twitter travels that I think you might find interesting as well. And here we go. All right, this is from someone called Running the Race. I think I have just gone ahead and followed them, if I'm not mistaken. Now, where did it go? Okay, here it is. Okay. New Q. Now, she's talking about the post that we're on right now. QAnon baby, they remembered him. See his thread here. Twitter.com, QAnon baby. Excuse me. Q asks where the term the storm came from and says some things leave lasting impressions. Listen carefully. We remember when at POTUS made storm statement. Now, this was, let me see if I can get this bigger. From June 28, we remember you, Mr. VIP, where we go one, we go all. Where did the storm derive from? Some things leave lasting impressions. Listen carefully. When did POTUS make the statement? When did we arrive to start the awakening? You have more than you know. Fireworks. Q. Now, of course, that was just before QAnon started posting, which I believe he started posting, he, she, they, October 28th, was it? Or the 27th? Maybe somebody could refresh my memory there in the comments. But we are, you know, we're crouching on a year here, just about. So anyway, let's go take a look at this, because I believe, okay, I was right in front, just a little left of the stage. At one point in the rally, Trump pointed at me and acknowledged my Q shirt again. To me, this was bigger than the first time confirmation. Now, anyway, let's go back, because this isn't what I thought it was. But anyway, it's interesting. So let's go on here. And I think that this is interesting because it said the picture will be the signifier. The signifier will force the Q. Now, maybe, I don't know, is that picture going to come out in the press or something and somebody's going to start, you know, asking, the press is going to start asking again, what about this Q? What about, because sooner or later, Trump is going to have to answer the question because it really hasn't been answered up until this point. And I see why. I think that it's serving a very useful purpose right now. So for Trump to say that he supports it, I think would be a negative thing right now, really, because there are so many against him still. But I don't know. That's just me thinking out loud, and perhaps I should not think out loud as much. So let's go on, because we've got some interesting things ahead here. Now, this is the next picture, and it says Red October 2 JPEG, and it's a picture of a Russian submarine. I would assume it's a Russian nuclear submarine because I believe that they all are, but I could be mistaken. I'm not military minded, and I've got no experience with the military, so if you happen to know that as a fact, please leave it in the comments below. But Q leaves us with a link and says double meanings exist. Q. What's he talking about? I believe he's talking about double meanings for Red October. That's what I mean. That's what I believe. Now let's go and look at this link. And this is the DEF CON warning system, okay, at DEF CON alerts. I should probably be following that. So, Russia's most advanced and stealthily nuclear submarine, so I was right, so I guess you don't need to correct me down there. Russia's most advanced and stealthily nuclear submarine ever just went to sea. Well, is that anything that we need to be concerned about? Well, I don't know if I ever went to this link here to see exactly what this is about. Russia's most advanced and stealthily nuclear submarine just went to sea. Those waters look cold, mighty, mighty cold. Russia's second whatever class submarine, K561 Kazan, which is modified Project 08851 Yazan M design, went to sea for the first time for builders' trials on September 24th. The massive nuclear power guided missile submarine was designed by the Malachite Design Bureau in St. Petersburg. Okay, well, none of this is important to us. Let's see if it's... we'll be facing tough potential opponents. One only has to look at the Severodvinsk Russians' version of a nuclear-guided missile submarine. I am so impressed with the ship that I had Carter Rock build a model from unclassified data, Johnson said during the Naval Submarine League's 2014 symposium in Falls Church, Virginia. The rest of the world's undersea capability never stands still. So I'm not sure if he wanted us to read this or not, but it's interesting. Let me see. I know I always say that. It's interesting, but it is. Dang it, it is interesting. All right. Now let's go back here. So he's letting us know that double meanings exist. Of course, the original Red October, the movie, had something to do with a nuclear submarine, but sorry, because it's been a very, very long time. If I watched it at all, which I think I may have, I don't remember much about it, but it's interesting that somebody said they either emailed it to me or they made this remark in the comments that the Red October, they have redone it several times and the enemy keeps changing, just like the book 1984. And somebody else in the comments noted that you could listen to the book 1984 on Audible, I think, or somewhere anyway, for free. So if you're not a reader, but you do want to enjoy the book 1984, because really, I would highly recommend it. It helps to understand what we're looking at now. It really, really does. It will, trust me, it'll help you. And if you can get it and listen to it for free, if you're not a reader, then that's great. Or if you can read it for free, that's great too. There's always libraries. Anyway, let's go on here because there's more to this than meets the eye, as there always is with Q. Now, let's go on to the next, and we will be coming back to the submarine. It says, Q puts this, now actually this may all be part of the same post, and I think it is. Yes, here is the next post, and Q is making reference to what we just looked at, and beneath he puts another of his posts from let me see, no, it isn't another post. It is a post by Q from October 5th, which is the day we're on, so it's current, and it says future news will highlight note. Oh, no, I'm sorry, forgive me here, I don't know. All right, this is an older post from February 11th, okay, so forgive me here. Down here, Q is referring to the post that we just looked at with the nuclear submarine, and he has added a post for reference from February 11th, which says, future news will highlight, note, the hunt for was dropped, details matter, Q. So the hunt for Red October was dropped. Remember when we first started looking at the Q post, it would often come up, the hunt for Red October, and nobody really understood precisely what he was talking about. But then in February he said, okay, well, the hunt for has been dropped. Well, why would they drop the hunt for? Because it was found, right? They were hunting for the Red October. Well, it's been found. Whatever it is, there's no hunt anymore. So that was back in February. So people that say that it had to do with this rogue missile that, and well, it wasn't a rogue missile, it was a very much intended to bring down Air Force One, and that was just back, how long ago? Not that long ago, months ago, and this summer. And there's some people saying, oh, that's what this is referring to. Red October was that, it's connected. No, because this is back in February of this year, and that's when the hunt for was dropped. So there's a relation here somewhere. And now let's go on and see what it is that Q is wanting to tell us. So we've got underneath this, Q adds more. He adds a link and then he says, and so it begins. How do you start a war? Markers matter. Playbook fail. So markers matter. Playbook fail. So this was their playbook, okay, but it failed. And markers matter. Well, what's he giving us as a marker for this? Well, he's telling us back in February that the hunt for was dropped. So it was found. Was this the rogue nuclear submarine that they were looking for? Remember, there was one. And it had been found. Did it have anything to do with Hawaii? When did that Hawaii thing happen? Let me see, actually. I just thought about that. Hawaii false alert. I can't remember because it was, but I seem to think it was around the same time, January 13th. So that's what I think, if anything, it could be associated to, because Q's telling us markers matter. Well, then what's the marker? If a marker matters, what's the marker? Well, he just gave us a reference here to an old post of his from February 11th. And this happened, when did I say? January 13th. So less than a month later, they say, Q is telling us, oh, well, the hunt's dropped now. The hunt for Red October's dropped now. We found it. Because otherwise, they'd be still searching. If they hadn't found it, they'd still be looking for Red October, right? And they'd say, the hunt for Red October. But they don't. So that's what I think it's related to. Personally, I think that that's what makes sense. But if you have any other ideas, I am more than willing to listen and entertain that. But Q has told us this was in their playbook, but it failed. So that's good news. So let's go look at this CNN politics status, see how this relates. A top U.S. admiral warns of a Russian submarine threat. Well. And then here is our newly released submarine. Yeah. So what is Q telling us? Well, I'll tell you what I think he's telling us. I think he's telling us that their narrative has changed. And so they've always been trying to make Russia the big boogeyman. They've done that here where I'm, where I'm living. They've done that when I lived in the States. I mean, it's always Russia is the enemy. And I don't think Russia really is the enemy. I think the enemy is China. And I think they are trying to start a war. Now, who is they? Well, we know them and we refer to them as the deep state, the cabal, by many names. And so that's what I think this is about. I don't know how that whole Hawaii thing fits in, but somehow it does. And that's what I believe. And this whole Russian thing, it wasn't working. See, it was the whole Russian collusion thing has fallen apart. So they're onto a new narrative. And the first new narrative is, oh, there's all these Russian hackers. Oh, those dirty Russian hackers. Yeah, everything is Russian hackers. And secondly, now we've got to be afraid because of this nuclear submarine. CNN's telling us. So, well, CNN, they know. Because they get their drops at 4 a.m. from the rogue state. Sorry, I was chugging a drink so I don't cough. All right, so let's go on. And he's saying that just because Red October is referring to this there's more than one meaning. And I said that, I think yesterday, that there's more than one meaning to this Red October. It could mean several things because Q is very, very good at that whole double meaning thing. Now, let's look at the next. And I've got to see, yes, here, Q is referring to his earlier post, the one that we just looked at. He's referring to that, and then beneath it, he is adding his own picture. And this is, it says, unauthorized missile fired, unauthorized emergency incoming missile threat activated, Hawaii. So we're back to Hawaii. POTUS, Air Force One. POTUS reroutes. Coincidence? No mainstream media investigations. Biggest threat to the American people? Q. So, yeah, that missile, they had to reroute POTUS because of that missile. And he's saying coincidence? And why no mainstream investigation? Why would this not be splashed all over the news? If someone tried to take down our president, why would this not be world news? It should be on the television screens and the computer screens and the radios and everything, anywhere, print media, everywhere. It should be absolutely everywhere so that you would have to be living under a rock not to hear it. But we haven't heard a peep, not one little peep. And if you tell people that, oh yeah, they tried to take down Air Force One, people will look at you like you are mentally ill. Trust me, they will. So, let's go down here. And of course, that is the picture of the missile. I don't know if that is a picture of the missile fired or shot down. It looks like, I don't know, because I don't know what it looks like when a missile is shot down. I don't know. I have seen missiles deployed, not in actual life, but I've seen videos and so forth. But I don't know. Is that the missile or is that them shooting it down? All right. Underneath that picture comes in response to this. Q says, post Justice K confirmation. Now, he's saying after Justice Kavanaugh, and notice he was calling him Justice Kavanaugh before he was even confirmed. So Q knew that it was going to go forward, okay? And he's saying, okay, after he gets confirmed, this is what you need to watch out for. Okay, this is what the mainstream media is going to start focusing on. Russia, Russia, Russia. And then think, the United Kingdom and Australia, Russia, Russia, Russia. They're going to do the same thing. Why? Because they're in on this as well. They're guilty as well. Because they helped the DNC spy on a presidential candidate. Is that not interfering in our elections? And they talk about Russia interfering in our elections? Like, what? That was interfering in the elections. So they're guilty as well. So they're doing the same thing. Oh, it's Russia. Those dang Russians. And then it says deflect declassification. So the declassification's coming. It's coming very quickly. Okay, and now that Justice Kavanaugh is confirmed, okay, well, they can't do anything about that now, so what are they going to turn to next? What is their next major talking point? Russia. We're back to Russia. It's the Russian hackers. It's the Russian, they're going to nuke us, on and on and on. And it's just a change in narrative to deflect from the declassification that's coming and to deflect the blame because they know they're guilty as sin. I mean, I can't believe that those two countries, and I honestly believe somehow, Canada's involved, because I just do. It's pretty obvious how the Canadian government feels about Donald Trump. If it was any more obvious, it would be tap dancing across all of our noses. But anyway, underneath here, Q says, focus Russia, global enemy. So that is what we have to look forward to in the news now that Justice Kavanaugh is confirmed. Everything's going to be Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. You know, like Marsha, except it's Russia, Russia, Russia. And that's going to be our global enemy now. So it's everybody look this way. Fear these people. These people are bad. Let's everybody hate them, because it takes the focus off of them and the declassification. Okay, and he said the hunt for dropped. Why? When was the unauthorized missile fired? Was it found, discovered prior to hunt? Well, that missile was fired was it fired in January? That particular missile, the Hawaii one, and Q told us that the drop for the hunt for had been dropped in February. So the missile came first. Russia sub-threat push, Red October. Double meanings exist. So Red October, and well, this is October, and you know, are they gonna? The narrative is changing now to this Russia submarine nuclear threat. So Red October, but they don't have to. There's no hunt for. Anyway, whether that Red October really is Russia's new nuclear submarine, which I doubt. I think that probably the Red October is the one that was missing, because remember, there was a nuclear submarine missing, and there was all sorts of speculation, but it was obviously in the hands of the deep state, and well, surprise, I guess they found it near Hawaii. I don't know. Again, speculation. Your thoughts and feelings are very, very welcome in the comments below. Always welcome. Whether I agree or not, I will never, I'll never delete your comments. Sometimes they get sent into like comment purgatory. That's what I call it, because it's like for me to check out to see if it's okay. And sometimes I just don't get them all done, because with some videos there's like hundreds of them. But like, you know, I will never just erase willy-nilly a comment, even if I don't agree with it, unless it's really, there's a lot of swear words, or unless you're blasphemous to God, because that's a personal thing, and I can't deal with that sort of thing. So sorry, that's a weakness of mine, I guess, or maybe perhaps to some people a strength, but that's not something that I can tolerate. Anyway, let's go on to the next one. Now, Q says, look here, Russia. Do not look here, China. And of course, that's what this new narrative is getting us to do. It's getting us to focus our attention on China, on Russia rather, while China rapes us up the hinder parts. Well, you know it's true. Sometimes you just have to say it the way it is, and that's what's happening. The mainstream media, of course, they get their drops, and they're being paid to say whatever they're being paid to say. These are not thinking people like we used to have real journalists. In the old days, there were real journalists that did real journalistic work. They looked at things, they investigated things, and then they reported on it, and they used their own mind to think things through. That does not happen anymore. We can't risk that in America, apparently. So we've got the 4 a.m. drops and them being told what to say, and that's what they've been told to say. Look at Russia, look at Russia, look at Russia, pay attention to Russia. No, there's nobody behind you raping you. Never mind them, keep your eyes ahead. There's no man behind the curtain. Well, I'm telling you, there is a man behind the curtain. Dang it, it's China. All right. Now, Q has left us with a video to watch here, and he says it's worth 43 minutes of your time. Well, it's not worth 43 minutes of our time right now. Now, I would suggest, I have not viewed this in its entirety, but I intend to. But I'm not going to play it all because that would be insane. So this is what this says, worth 45 minutes of your time. Fake news will never report. Important to understand going forward, facts matter. Q. Yes, they do. They do matter. Now let's go, and I want to show you what this video is so you will know.
Please welcome the President
and it's Vice President Mike Pence's remark on the administration's policy toward China. It's 43 minutes and 9 seconds long, and it is him speaking. And what does it say here? On October 4th, Vice President Mike Pence delivered a major speech on the administration's policy towards China at Hudson Institute. And so comments are disabled, but there have been 185,000 views, and I bet you most of them are from Q, sending people here. So this is something on my list to watch, but I have not as yet had an opportunity. So it is, if you go out to YouTube and Google Vice President Mike Pence's remarks toward China, you will be sure to get this video. And if it's something that you wish to watch, it's there for you to do so. I will watch it in its entirety at some point, probably today or tomorrow. And if there is something in there that I believe that we absolutely need to know, I will pull that out and discuss it. So let's go on. Now, this is October 6th, so I'm going to stop there so that this video will be complete, and I will start fresh with October 6th. And because it's still early in the evening, it's only 8:25, there is absolutely no reason, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, that I can't get October 6th done today, because I have already looked at the posts. So let's cut it for there and call it a video. And I will see you guys soon. I hope that you're having a wonderful Saturday. It's rainy and cold here, but it's still a good day. And especially now that we know that the confirmation for Judge Kavanaugh has been cemented in place. That is very good news indeed. So I will let you go and hope that you have a good evening. Stay well, stay safe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.